It's Character Hero 4, and this is a video about the One Piece film Z. This is a video because I wanted to get my opinion out, what I thought of it, the stuff that was revealed, all that kind of stuff out, and I was going to do that last night, but it was 1:30 in the morning, so I couldn't really do it at that time. So I thought I'd do it now. And first of all, if you don't want any spoilers, don't bother watching this. You're just wasting your time because I'm going to say a lot of stuff and it's just going to ruin stuff for you, so just don't bother. Alright, first of all is the plot of the film. There's this guy called Zed that everyone knows of already, who wants to basically destroy the New World by using these kind of egg things called Dino-Rocks, which when connected with air, so basically they're kept in containment. Once air has basically touched them, they make a massive explosion that can basically destroy a whole island like that. And so his plan is to set off these Dino-Rock egg things in 3 certain locations, which would destroy the whole of New World, destroying the sea and destroying any possibility of any new pirates trying to become Pirate King, basically stuff like that, just to wipe out any pirates he can. And so the Straw Hats get involved, but it starts off really well with Zed and his team, his group, stealing the Dino-Rocks from a naval base. As soon as it comes out, Kizaru shows up, who hasn't changed at all since pre-time script. Well, before the 2 years, he's no different at all. Really is the same. They get into a fight. It looks really good. It looks like Kizaru might be winning at the start, and then Zed pulls off a dangerous move that destroys the island, separates him from his team. The Straw Hats see him and help him onto the ship, and Chopper wants to help him because he's a doctor and he can't turn away a patient. And you get to learn a bit more. Before he knows they're pirates and goes crazy on them, he's actually an understanding guy. He tells people about his metal arm that works, called Battle Smasher, which was made by a scientist in the naval base, which means we can only assume that it's Vegapunk that actually made it. He's saying he can't take it off without a certain key, so that means he's stuck to his arm, he can't remove it ever without a certain key. As soon as he heard his Luffy say that they're pirates, he goes mental on them. Him and his whole fleet show up, destroying the ship, everyone's injured. And his 2 under officers, 1 woman who's got a Devil Fruit power to make people younger by 12 years, which she uses on Nami, Chopper, Brook and Robin. Now to Robin, it doesn't seem like that much of a difference. Chopper is a lot smaller, and you'll see that also with his points earlier. Brook, there's no difference, but he feels there's a difference. And Nami's basically a little girl now. The other one has got this ability is to control like plants and stuff. He says something about dancing, but I don't know if he actually has to dance or he just does that anyway. And it makes plants come out of the ground. And since the whole of Sunny has like a grassy floor, it's basically the worst enemy from the Straw Hats. They get stuck. Luckily, they get out of there before anyone is killed or captured. And well, yeah. And so far, you see the Zed and his team go off to these 3 areas, the endpoints, to set off the explosions. Luffy's and his crew's at a dock, and they separate off into groups. So basically, Zoro, Sanji, Luffy, and Brook go off to a steam bath because they'll probably give it away. Frankie's working on the ship, fixing it up, and so the others are gone off to get intel. And you see that they're at a spa of Luffy's group, and you just see Luffy and Brook in their little spas, which is like a cup, and they're just sitting there, and you can see how drained they are of energy, which is kind of funny. And they all turn around and they see Aokiji just laying in one of the baths talking to him. As you can see on his back, he's got just a massive burn scar, which shows us how brutal the fight with Akainu was, how bad it was. And as soon as he gets out of the pool of water, you see that he's missing from his left, I think it's his left leg, from his knee downwards, he's missing his leg. and he just makes a new one out of ice. And that shows you what he lost during that fight with Alkainu. And he tells them how he's not a part of the Naval Sea, he's not after them, he's just a fighter for justice. And since they haven't done anything bad at all, he's not going to go after them, there's no point. Stuff like that. The other group gets intel and stuff. And Luffy goes off. You see how angry he is when he lost to Zed, and a load of naval soldiers are going after Usopp's group after they let slip that there were the Straw Hats and stuff. They're running, and you see Luffy uses Haki, which looks awesome in the film. In the anime, it's just like a blue sheet which just knocks everyone out. In this, it's like when he goes gear second, like a red energy that pulses out, knocks everyone down apart from one of the higher ups where they get the intel from. Everyone goes after them for a fight basically, and all the others are at this like sea train, while Sanji, Zoro, Luffy and Usopp go after the main bad guys. You see Luffy get in the fight with Zed, which he loses, and Zed takes his hat because he realises that belongs to Goldie Roger, and he knows that's a big symbol of where the whole pirate era started, and destroying that with the rest of the New World will be showing that his task is done. Zoro and Sanji get into their fights, but they escape, and so basically after they chase them to the final place for the final battle, which is pretty good. You get to see them in their new looks at the final battle in like the red suits and everything, which is pretty good. You get to see Choppy's points like 12 years younger, which is pretty funny. His Kung Fu point is really short, about like, if I can't get this on camera, like that tall. Not that much of a distance, just really small in his Kung Fu point, which is kind of funny. I thought was pretty good. He surrounds himself with guns and then uses them to guard points so he can hold all the guns, and he fires them all, which is pretty cool. You get to see the new PX robots that show up. Like 5 of them are attacking. Zoro, Sanji and Luffy are fighting off the main enemies. The other Straw Hats are kind of pushed back by these, and then Frankie just shows up in his robot, blasting all them to pieces like that, showing that they're not that much of a problem for Frankie, which is pretty cool. The fight with Zoro and the woman was pretty good. The fight between Sanji and the ninja guy was pretty good, and the funny bit is when we've seen him in Fishman Island, when he gets all angry, he literally turns into fire when he attacks. He just thinks about the thing that will make him angry is that he'll never be able to see. He won't be able to see Nami, Nami looking how she did before, which is pretty funny. So he beats him. Zoro beats the girl, and ends with Luffy going against Zed, him smashing his arm, which is made of the I can't remember the name of it, but that's like the seawater metal, which weakens Devil Fruit uses, which was shown at the start, and how that's the best weapon to use against Devil Fruit users. It also shows him shoot Luffy with a gun which was made of that same stuff beforehand, and it's all gone pretty good and everything. Finally Luffy destroys his arm, and it's just him with his normal arms on Zed, or his real name is Zephyr, and so they're just fighting it out, and his arms are all black, which is his nickname. Like Luffy, Straw Hat Luffy, he's called Black Arm Zephyr, which we can assume that is Haki. It can't be any Devil Fruit powers, because with the arm on him, that would weaken him and make him unable to fight. So it has to be Haki that he's using. They go off into a big fight, which ends with Luffy. He didn't care about him destroying New World, he just wanted his hat back the whole time, which I find kind of funny. It ends with them respecting Luffy, and Aokiji opening a ice wall because Zephyr knew he was going to die, and he wanted to die fighting all the trainees he trained while he was with the Navy, which was pretty good. You didn't get to see the whole fight, just a bit of it, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah, and so the Straw Hats leave with Aokiji freezing all the Dino Rocks in the last place so nothing would happen. Yeah, and that's basically the end of the story. The Straw Hats go on their way. Everything basically goes back to normal. And some of the stuff we see is Zephyr actually has an inhaler that shows him being weak in his fight with Kizaru at the start, which means either with the arm his body is a strain on his body to actually use it, and he needs that to simulate his body and keep him actually living, or he's gotten to a certain age that or he's just too old that he needs that to keep him alive long enough for the fight. What is it? We also get to see Sengoku in this. He's got all grey hair now, just like Garp. Grey hair, grey beard, which makes him look really old. You get to see Kobe as well. Now at a high level of him in the Navy. I'm not sure what he is. He might be a captain, I'm not sure. He's still working under Garp with the other guy, which I can't remember his name. What else is there? You get to see Akainu in his new position as head of the Navy. You get to see that Aokiji, Akainu and Kizaru was all trained, and most of the other now higher up Navy soldiers, by Zephyr when he was still with the Navy. And you kind of feel sorry for Zed and why he left the Navy, because it shows him he was a young soldier. He became a Navy an admiral at a youngish age, and you see why he left the Navy and why he goes on trying to defeat the pirates. The first thing is he loses his wife and son to a pirate, which was pretty sad. He knew that came with a risk. The second thing was he lost his arm in a while training new cadets, and you see that the two working with him, the woman and the ninja guy, was part of those recruits. And he lost so many of them and his arm, which got him the replacement arm from Vegapunk. And the third thing was the pirate that killed his wife and son actually joined the warlords. So I'm thinking it might probably be someone like Blackbeard. I'm thinking it might be Blackbeard. I'm not 100% sure. He doesn't really say. So basically, those are the three reasons why he leaves the Navy. He makes his own group and tries to kill all the pirates that he can, and hates them. That was pretty good. You get to see how, even though Luffy's trained for 2 years, he did have trouble with Zed in the first two battles before finishing the third battle. In the third battle, they were kind of going at it, Luffy with his Haki enhanced arm, so they were dark and black just like Zephyr, so that's why I assume that it's Haki they're using. Just going back and forward with fists like normal fight, until Zephyr can't go anymore, he says, because of his age and how old he is. Which I don't really get. I thought that he could have got just the woman to make him younger for while they're doing this task, just to see if they could just help with their mission, because if he's younger he could probably be faster, stronger and stuff like that. What else? Yeah, I think that's a lot of it. And we get to see at the end why he calls himself Zed. It shows him as a child with like a wooden log tied around his arm when he was a child, dressed like a superhero, which he used to call himself Zed. So I guess he sees himself as a hero of justice kind of thing, like Aokiji, but on a whole new level. I think that's it. Yeah, I recommend watching the film. It is really good. You expect to see a little more stuff in it, to be honest, but it isn't too bad, and it's good to help with the story and stuff, and give more backstory on some of the characters. Yeah, I think that's about it. Please leave a like, a comment, subscribe if you want, whatever. This is Captain 4 saying thank you and goodbye.